The government has removed a lot of rules, regulation, procedures. It has removed 1,200 laws so that people can do business. It has jumped up 42 positions in the ease of doing business. It improved vastly in the foreign direct investment regime. It opened up all its sectors, and therefore foreign direct investment in India has grown by 62% in the last 3.5 years, at a point of time when FDI across the world has fallen by 16%. This government has pushed for, it has really pushed for urbanization. It has pushed for major smart cities, 100 smart cities, 50 metros. It has pushed for 85,000 kilometers of national highway, and all this is under implementation. So a huge focus on creating world-class infrastructure. And fourthly, to my mind, it has been able to create a unique ecosystem of startups, of innovation, and of entrepreneurship.
Of course, the economy is growing at more than 7%, and yet there's a criticism that it's not fast enough to accommodate over 1 million youth entering the job market every month. How do you reconcile with that challenge?
Well, the problem to my mind is not of lack of jobs. The problem is that we are creating jobs, but they are not well-paid, adequately well-paid jobs. And therefore, the government has opened up a completely new Ministry of Skill Development. We are opening up robots, 3D printers, additive manufacturing through tinkering labs in school. Our objective is in 3 years' time, we'll open up 30,000 tinkering labs in schools, and therefore create new jobs which the world would require tomorrow. And people of India must go and seize jobs all across the world. They must get into artificial intelligence, they must get into blockchain, they must get into additive manufacturing, and they must drive the new technology of tomorrow, because India has laid the base for Indian institutes of technology. It has laid the base for new management institutes, and it has people who have gone and taken management position across the world. And therefore, Indians like Sundar Pichai lead Google, Indians like Satya Nadella lead Microsoft, and we are trying to create many more of them for the years to come in future.
You're talking about boosting exports and sending out more expat workers, but many major economies like the United States are moving towards protectionism. How do you deal with that?
The march of globalization is inevitable. The world cannot grow without globalization. But the challenge is to create newer kind of jobs, to create higher skilled jobs. That is what the world will constantly require. It's a challenge for political leadership across the world. How do you make growth inclusive? How do you ensure jobs for the poor people? How do you ensure education? How do you ensure health standards for people? And I think the great example is of America, which has had growth for years to come and yet remains a divided society because of inequality. And what it shows really is that when you register growth, you must ensure that it is equitable, it is fair, it is just.
Headline numbers like GDP and employment can mask the plight of those who are left behind by the economic drive. How do you make India's growth more equitable?
No, we are looking at it very differently, and therefore our whole focus is on nutrition, our whole focus is on education, our whole focus is on health. And one of the key things we are doing is that under Prime Minister Modi's leadership, we are driving a program called the Aspirational Districts. We've identified 115 backward districts of India. We don't call them backwards, we call them aspirational districts. We've laid down 115 indicators on which we will work: education, health, nutrition, infrastructure, and agriculture, and skill. And these are the areas where we are working. We are making them compete. We have created a baseline. We are working on creating competition amongst these districts so that they regularly, on real-time databases, they compete, and we are assisting them, supporting these districts so that they become the champions of change for tomorrow.